call the meeting to order, and maybe we can discuss a little bit about heaters.
I'm ready. Let me tell you, it was cool in there today.
Okay. Do you have any new information?
I called K&K, they were supposed to be there today, and they didn't show up. And the other two guys, they want to return the call.
So do we want to act?
Yeah, I think we need to get you guys warmed up. I'll move to buy the cheaper one than the two we had.
Laurel, what was those numbers? Do you have them handy?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Fields.
Fields.
Do you have all your bids with you,
Yeah,
Jeff?
Fields
Do I
Heating.
have
Did you bring them again?
You would ask me that, wouldn't you? I brought everything for this
I
other
haven't.
meeting. I didn't bring
Okay,
that.
like I said, Gary's got them.
It would be the Fields Heating and Air, Heating, Air, and Electric.
Gary, can I say something?
Yeah?
Dale was down there today, we was looking at it. And to put the tube heaters in, we gotta move the gas lines, and plus put new vents through the roof. I just soon go with the square heaters like we got, and put two of them in and get it over with.
Okay.
Well, I already said, make a motion to do what he said.
Well,
I got it here somewhere, I think.
I really don't understand why that bid on those radiant heaters is coming in so high. It just
They
don't
won't make money, they ain't got to work for a while.
it don't make no sense to me. Jay and I looked it over pretty good, and certainly hanging the two new traditional gas furnaces to replace the two waste oil furnaces is less complicated, and all the hardware hanging from the rafters is right there. But there's still all the gas line and
This way you're gonna have to
Has to
pay
be
for extra on the moving stuff around.
I don't know, I don't know why there's so much difference between the two. But I'm pretty much, you know, I really like the radiant heaters. I think they do a good job, and they run very efficiently. But I know, I wish we'd have started this job in the middle of the summer instead of going in the winter.
So,
Here's two copies of them. Oh, you got it?
yeah, I've got it. The two bids on the heaters, or the Resnor type heaters. One from Fields was for $9,800, and the one from Connersville Heating and Cooling was for $17,220. So Fields is still the cheaper
Yeah.
of the two.
I left mine out in the truck, but that, yeah, okay, 8,000 for the two heaters and 1,800 for the fans. 9,800.
So your bid, or your motion, Mark,
Yeah, go ahead and,
with the resonant heaters
yeah.
for $9,800, that bid. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded that we okay the bid from Fields Heating, Air, and Electric for the two natural gas furnaces and the ceiling fans for a total bid of $9,800. Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Motion carries. All right, that takes care of that. You want those? That's 8,900. All right. Anything else pertaining to that, Jay?
I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, we'll move on to the our community crossings grant planning for next year. We've asked Mike to be here from Butler Fairman and to go over the Pazer software and kind of guide us and direct us and with that, and then we hopefully can come up with some mileage for them to create some estimates for next year's grant application. So I'll let you have the floor.
Okay, as of this morning, the county's asset management plan was approved by Purdue, so you're all set to apply. We got that uploaded and Bill got it submitted and approved, so you're in great shape for the call next year. We still think that's gonna be in January, but that's what all the emails have said, that's gonna go on as planned, but we've heard that before, and there was a short, they stretched it out a little bit last year, so I think we plan on a call in January and get prepared for that. If it's a little later in January, we'll still be ready, okay? This is your Pazer map. I'll zoom in and we'll do some querying here in a little bit, but anything towards green is higher rated again, and then closer to red is the lower rated, just based on the Pazer. So, probably your 9s and 10s are in the green, and then your middle, 7 to 4 range will be the yellow, orange, and then the red's going to be your lower rated roads. So typically what you're looking at here is anything that you paved before, probably in the last 3 years, is closer to the green. There's probably some outliers there of roads that are just staying in good shape. A couple ways to look at this. So if you just fall into the school of Pazer ratings, anything that's 5 or above would be maintenance type items, crack sealing, fog sealing, that type of thing we talked about before in some meetings. Anything below a 5, so 4 and on down, is what you would look at doing paving on as a kind of a rule of thumb. So 2-inch, 3-inch overlay, with or without milling, that type of thing. So I can change the map to, if we want to look at what's less than 4 or less than 5.
Okay, Mike, does this take into consideration like vehicle count, or
So you get,
whether it's a priority road that's an orange or a secondary road that's an orange?
no, great question, Gary. That's just Pazer rating. So once we dive into the data, we can look at the classification of the road, whether it's major, minor, local, etc. And then on your majors, you get updated traffic counts from NDOT on just your major collectors. So if we look at a major collector, I will have traffic counts. We pull those right into this from NDOT. But on the anything less than a major, we won't have traffic counts unless we go out.
Unless we do them ourselves, in-house, okay. That's what I was thinking.
I'm going to say 4 because your 5s are, and there's nothing wrong with doing, you probably paved some roads in the past that were mediocre, maybe a 5 or a 6, but they were, like you were saying, they were a major collector. You wanted to stay on top of those. So this is just a place to start. So I'm looking at roads that are less than or equal to 4. So the ones that still have color would be those roads.
And for instance, the yellow ones, they could be gravel as well, correct?
Yeah, I
Because
can.
they'll have a rating of 4 or less, won't they?
Yes, I believe, and I'll double check here. I think usually what I do on the gravel roads is I zero those out, put a rating of 0 once we turn it into LTAP, so you can see that those won't be in your list for paving. Now you can look at them for conversions or other things, but I believe I have those agreed out. So we should just be looking at paved roads
Okay.
now. Jay or Bill, if you see any difference, let me know. So I don't know. I can dive into these and I can get these in a list and we can look at the collectors.
On the boundaries of your county,
Mm-hmm.
do we take care of the east side or the west side? We take care of the east side, don't we?
East and south. East and south.
So I'm going to kind of do the same query here in just a list instead of a map so we can see some of these names real quick. So we're going to say, well, let me just bring these up. This mouse is real touchy. see if we're- I'm not bringing every piece of data back, so bear with me here for a second. So you're going to start to see some of these with traffic counts on them here, and I can pull this. Those are going to be your major collectors, see major, so I can filter these out if we just want to look at those.
It looks like miners
Yeah,
are as well,
yeah.
have traffic counts maybe.
Yep, you've got some, and those may have been
Some that we
converted
did in-house.
or
maybe.
done them in-house, yeah. And sometimes we'll pull that data, so all your bridges have traffic counts on them typically, so we'll pull some of that in here if we can.
Oh, okay.
Especially if somebody's wanting to know, we'll go at the bridge and kind of attribute that traffic count. So I'm going to sort on rating real quick. These we'll put these kind of in order of. I think it did it, yeah. So there's threes, and then let's, I'm trying to find my happy place with this. Let's see. So now as I go down the list, I should be going worst to better roads, just looking for some major, those are all local. So there's our first minor collector. And that looks to be County Road 200 East. From Springerville, looks like just a section. So that's kind of how we can disseminate this. If you got any, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong line. It's 450 East.
450 east from 400 north to 500 north,
Yeah.
correct?
So there's a mile there, yeah. I'm gonna dive in and see what. And that one was chip and sealed a few times on Jay's list, and
That's up north of Springersville, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, that would be from the intersection of 400 north, 450 east, and run north from that intersection to the county line, to the Wayne County line.
That right there.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Jay, in-house, you've resurfaced some of 450, haven't you?
From 275, which is that road off to your right there, down, no, come on down, that's 400, come on down, right down there, we went from there to 400.
Yeah.
Fixed that section through there. But it hadn't touched the section in front of that from Springersville on over to them. And actually 450 across the highway going south is in worse shape than that is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So down here, Jay.
Yeah, down where it's red right there. Yeah, that's in worse shape than the north one is. The north end could stand it, but the other section's not too bad a shape.
How does it look south of 44, Jay?
That's the one that I said
That's
going
the one
into,
that's worse.
going into Alpina. Yeah, it was scheduled to be chip sealed this year. But with the breakdown of chip box, we never did get it. So
Yeah.
it could stand it big time.
So yeah, south of, you got about 1.25 miles there, maybe
Mhm.
closer to 1.5 miles there.
Okay. I was thinking from here down to here,
Here's the highway.
so, well, that's Springerville
Or,
Road.
no.
Here's 44.
Yeah,
Coming
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming down.
Now, are you,
I mean, this road at the bottom.
you're talking about 44 to Alquina, aren't you,
No.
Jay?
Huh?
You're talking from State Road 44 to Alquina, aren't you?
I'm not clear.
Yeah, all the way down to,
See, it's green.
it's green?
Yeah.
So we marked that, you didn't get that chip sealed then,
No, we didn't get that chip seal
Okay.
this year. We had it scheduled for chip seal.
okay?
But when we lost our chip box, we didn't
So-
get it done.
So that's really.
That's
a
why
two.
it,
Yeah,
That's why it's green.
that's why it's green,
we
okay.
took the list and applied it, so
Yeah.
that, if you look in parentheses here, that was a 2, we need to set that back to a 2.
Okay, so we are okay looking at that stretch
Yeah.
then, that mile and a quarter.
That's why we like to get this in front of you. Yeah, so I need to remove that 2020 chip seal right
Yeah.
there, okay?
So you can go in, you can do that right here, can't you?
Yep.
With edit,
Yep.
through the edit? Yeah, that's what it's on. So if you're, Jay, if you're thinking 450 east, State Road 44,
Clear down to 400.
down, you're thinking go south of Alquina Road?
Go south all the way down from 44 to, I think that's 2.5 miles.
44 south to, it'd be four,
I'll get the map up for you here. I was just making note to get that switched.
Here's last year's map.
yeah, there's yellow on down south of that. Alquina Road. To whatever that red is, that red line,
There.
that two. Right
This one?
above that.
Above it?
Just above, that intersection just above. Isn't that what you're talking about, Jay? To the first intersection south of Alquina?
It's a green. Yeah, it's a green.
Yeah, these two.
What about it's a green?
We got up north.
Was it on the list that didn't get done this year?
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
I heard it was in pretty bad shape.
It was on the list to be chip sealed,
Yeah.
so Butler went ahead and just copied the list.
So from 300 all the way to State Road 1, it's probably a 2 or something. Wellsview Road.
State Road 44.
Yeah, no, going west to 1, it's Wellsview Road. And
Where
then
we at?
Wellsview right there, and then on the lower left, it's a green now. Was that one your list, chip and seal that didn't get done? Because it's surely not a, yeah, that one. I haven't looked at it, somebody told me it was in pretty bad shape. You don't remember the last time you chip and sealed it?
Yeah, we had it. It was on the
20.
2020 list.
Okay, it was on this list, that's why it's a green.
Okay.
So that might be a consideration as well as we road, over to 300 there.
Wrong man.
Oops. I'll get used to this mouse
But-
here in a second.
Let's go back to Alquina Road first, so we can finish getting that listed. You're talking State Road 44 south to the first intersection south of Alquina, Jay?
Yeah,
So all the way down to here.
Right there.
all the way down to 400.
400.
Yeah,
Is
400.
that 300 there or 400?
Then that's
300.
the
400
second
there.
intersection.
400 comes across off 375 from 1.
That's 300 right here.
So you want to go 2 miles,
You go another mile.
go another mile,
But it's red.
It's red.
right there, to meet up with that green.
But I haven't seen that, had anything done to it since 2012.
Whenever we overlaid it,
Yeah, 2012 last time I had anything done to it according to the map.
because I think we overlaid that, pugged that from Everton Road clear to 44.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about
All the way down to here.
450 east.
450 east from State Road 44, clear through
Be the second road down, right?
to the second intersection.
See, here's this is last year's map. It shows 450 east from Alquina Road south is green, between Alquina
They show when it was done.
and 44 red.
That's 2012.
But now it's yellow,
And that's this color.
south of Alquina.
That's the only section that was done right there. That hadn't been nothing done here.
This is green because it was supposed to have been chip sealed, and it was entered as chip sealed, and it's not
I'm
chip sealed.
fixing those right now.
We can still chip seal it when we get that new machine in, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Cause this was done in 19.
But nothing has been done from 44 south to this intersection since we pugged it
Yellow, that's,
back in 12 or 13,
yeah. It's been a while since it was done, new.
but maybe a chip seal, one chip seal.
I can't remember right now. Jay would have it all on file down there, I guess.
Jay, let's go back to 450.
Yeah,
You think from 44, you'd like to see 44 clear to 400 south?
400 south. And according to my map here, it hadn't been touched since 2012.
So from here to here,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, so a hair over 2 miles.
Okay. Now, where are you at, Michael? Because you don't have 44 included in that. You're not up far enough.
Okay. That-
There.
Sorry, that's the section that,
Got chip sealed,
but didn't get chip
but
sealed.
didn't get chip
So
sealed.
from there, clear down, so almost 3 miles.
Yes.
Okay.
It would confuse me, there's no town.
Yeah.
Well, I also would like for us to look at some more work up in the Fairview, Posey Township area. We've avoided due to the windmills. And we hit 700, part of 700 this year in-house.
And we figured on hit the other part next year.
And
About
Jay's,
north out of Bentonville County line.
But I'm-
Use that to-
but I'm thinking 550 west from 300 to the county line that's a major thoroughfare. 450 west is I don't know that it's as major now as it was when the landfill was up there. Do you, Jay?
I don't think they use it as much. 550 gets most of the action because everybody cutting up to the state highway up there.
Or to Newcastle to work
Yeah.
back and forth, from Newcastle to there. And I don't, if we can't do from 300 clear to the county line, then I think probably from Bentonville north to the county line is worse than Bentonville south, condition-wise.
Yeah, it showed, the south section down to 300 was done in 15.
Yes, I think that
The
was,
north section, part of it was done, 1 mile was done in 13. The
okay.
rest of it hasn't been touched.
But I think it's all orange from 300 north
Yeah, let me get-
clear to the county line, I think.
Do we have a traffic count on 550 west?
I will look here and see. Come on, dude. 550 west,
From 300 north to county line north.
is that this one?
No, it's northwest part.
Oh, sorry, west.
Is it there? No, this one. Here.
That one right there.
Right here.
I do not have a traffic count. See if we get
This is gonna be 300, isn't it? No,
no.
this, well,
It's 200 here.
this is 300 north.
Yeah, 300 north there.
Where's Harrisburg?
No traffic counts there. I can see if I can pull those off a bridge for you.
200. No, Harrisburg is 300.
200. Yeah, this is 300 north right here. I'm in the right place now. But that looks like 2s and 3s
They're all 2s and 3s, yeah.
all the way to the county line north.
Yeah.
And we chip sealed 300 north from Harrisburg on out to the county line this year, so that buys us some time on that road. We fixed up bridge on 300 north.
Yeah.
But we're talking about
8 miles.
8, is it total 8?
Yep.
It's the 8 from right around here all the way up to the
Yeah, that's
county.
8 miles.
1, 2, 3, 7. Is it 7 or 8?
8, you go all the way to 200.
If you go all the way to 200, yeah. Yeah. So you're thinking 200 instead of 300?
Yeah, it makes sense to do the whole thing if you're gonna do it. Because the first thing you're gonna hear is, why did you stop 1 mile short at the end of it?
Yeah, so start right here at this bend and go all the way up.
Yes.
Okay.
Right there where your arrow pointer is what Jay is saying.
From here or the?
From here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. When I point to the screen, you can't see me point to the screen.
And I try to point at the screen and the mouse is over here.
This is not working very well. It'd sure help if this map here had road numbers.
Oh, the one up there? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to see why it doesn't. Sure would.
It'd make a whole lot of difference.
I'm gonna turn something off and just see here. If these are hiding it or,
There,
yeah, they were hiding it.
they're hiding it with the
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can turn those back on. Let me get us,
Now, is that the road that comes off 30th Street right there?
200. You're,
Okay.
yeah, 250. 200, 250.
Yeah.
Combination. And Jay, how many miles did you say 450 would be? East?
450?
450 east,
450 east.
over there at Alquina? Three and a quarter miles or something like that?
roughly,
44.
Like 3 miles. I think.
3.5 miles.
3.5?
If you go from 44 all the way to Alpine, all the way to 400.
Okay. So there's 10, 11, about 11 and a half miles.
How many miles do we get total?
Depends on what our award is.
With,
I knew before I left what your total, what was your total bid? It was right at a, what, 800,000 plus you did the extra miles, so we're right at $1 million last year. And, you know off the top of your head, Jay, how many miles we paved of that last year?
8.5.
8.5?
Got my figures here
for this year.
for this year. We haven't got them totally done yet, but they're out there today.
So with that same makeup, you're around $115,000, $117,000 a mile at those bid prices, so. What'd you say, Gary, 11 and a half?
8, 10, 11 and a half miles right now.
That'd be less than 1.3.
Yeah, it's
We got $1 million.
1,352.
So
It's doable if possible.
Yeah,
this could be doable.
yeah, so that would be a $250,000 match plus another 100,000 to get depending on where bids are. So you get your million and spend $1.25 million, and you're 100,000 over that. That'll maximize your million.
Yeah. So if we, now we probably need to, would you say then we probably need to take 550 West and maybe break it out in some alternates just in case, so that we can do part of it but not all of it, or we can do all of it?
I'd say we show all of it and then do an alternate at a heavier pave. And then you can always back off. So we want to do at least 2 inches and then do an alternate at say 3.5. And then if you need to back down to get close to your 1 1/4, we can not award the alternate that way. But I'd leave the footprint big and change that. You want at least 2 inches, Jay, and
Yeah, it'd be best.
then if we can, make it a little bit thicker on the worst sections.
Well, they probably hit this year with crown was so high in the center. And if we can grind the center and get the crown down,
Okay,
they won't take as much.
right,
The wedging won't take as
Yeah,
much.
it won't take as much.
okay,
Because by the time they crowned, they hit that crown and left an inch on top of it, they had that much on the side.
right.
Every time they laid on top of it, they had that much on the side.
So we can, yeah, we can do a partial mill, a profile mill to get that center down. If, you know, your chip and seal builds that crown up.
Yeah, yeah.
We overlap this.
And that's where it can take a little milling and you're not gonna lose as much because you've kind of overlapped it every time.
Right.
So, I would calculate that at like 30% mill, when we just have a mill the crown.
Mm-hmm. And
I'll
then the
keep your
intersections
edges. Okay.
and intersections and bridges and
Yeah.
like we have been
We'll
doing.
butt mill everything else, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can stand there and look down the road and see where it needs it and where it don't need it.
Right. That's a great point. So if we call it out at 30%, it may end up being less, we'll be on the high side, but if they've got it where they've milled back here and they don't need to mill the crown here because it's made
It's-
the grade better, then they'll just skip that and go to the
Right.
next. They kind of set it based on the edges and let it take out the middle.
Well, it makes it easier on them too.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
There'll
then,
be less wedging than leveling.
yeah, wedge is the hardest thing to calculate from
Yeah.
here versus standing out there.
So then could we do another project on here as another alternate, so that in case they come way under, we've got another road already built into it?
Ready to go?
So they won't let us, that kind of goes back to 2 years ago when we had to remove a road.
Yeah.
They don't like that. So I would get your footprint set and then kind of change the parameters of your makeup of your material in there, or, you know, we can show Edgestone as an alternate. If it comes in low, then we can go ahead and edge them. You guys won't have to do that
Okay,
type of thing, but I would get your footprint set and try not, we really can't add and take away from that once we ask for it.
okay, I understand.
So if we added in another road, say another mile or two somewhere else, and the bids come in too high, you just know you couldn't do it, you can't just take that project entirely out?
No, because when you apply, you're committing financially to match at 25% of what you're asking for. So if they come in high, then your commitment to the match is kind of going away and you're asking them to take that away. They've done it for you before. We had to fight right up to the deadline to get them to accept it, if you remember. And I wasn't too comfortable until they said, yeah, let's do it. But it was,
Well, and we're finishing that up
Yeah.
this year with
Yeah.
650.
yeah, and we'll call
West.
attention to that in the application, but we're dealing with the Indians, and when it gets up to the boss, the boss sometimes forgets and just says no. So I don't want to put us in that predicament again.
So are we okay with these two choices?
No, excellent.
We're down to two, 450 east
And 550
and
west?
550 west.
Jay, how wide are those roads? I mean, I know what my GIS is. Are they about the same as we did last year, or are they narrower?
550 west is the same as Springersville, isn't it? Or
Pretty
thereabouts?
close, same as Springfield. 550 West is now south down to Alquina, the south half from Alquina down is narrower than the north half. It's a little wider down there, just with that big culvert in there,
Yes,
and they
yeah.
widen everything out.
They widened everything out a little bit.
So,
But I don't know if it's any wider than 550 West.
no, probably max out at 18 probably,
I just wanted to make sure our numbers were kind of still in the.
Probably
ballpark.
18, 19 feet
yeah.
at the most. Any of it is,
Okay.
probably.
Because when we paved ourselves, we didn't hit nothing over 20 feet.
Yeah.
Most
Now-
of them was under.
Let me ask you this, Mike, if we give you these two roads today, you go back and you put together the numbers, we're still gonna have, if we hurry this along, we're still gonna have time to
Oh,
say,
yeah. Yeah,
man, these aren't just aren't gonna work. Let's remodify and we can go someplace else.
yeah, and if you
we
got
need to.
questions on any of the ratings and stuff, just shoot them at me and I'll dive into them. I'll get you some, I'm sure we can pull a bridge on either side of this and get you a rough traffic count if you want things like that when you're looking at them, but I mean, if you look at your whole map, those two stick, that you've kind of settled on stick out, this one for sure. That's me knowing nothing about your traffic, who travels it, but those,
Yeah, as far as major traffic flowing out of the county, 450 east going north, has a lot of traffic on it. and
Going to
550
Richmond.
west, that's the same thing.
Going towards Richmond, and
Yeah.
then 550 West is going towards Newcastle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the work traffic
yeah.
now.
Tell just go out and work on them for about a day.
So then, let me ask you this then, Jay, is there a lot of traffic coming from Everton Road, clear up 450 east to the county line north? Or
I
are,
think they're coming, they don't come up that lower section of 450 that I wasn't talking about. It was chip sealed two or 3 years ago.
mm-hmm,
But it's not a lot of deep hollers in it, they don't like traveling that, they come around past, what's that, 330, come down to 330, to 400, and come back around and go to 450, is the way they come.
well, I just wonder if we should address less mileage south of 44 and go back up on the north end and catch that mile.
If we got the money this year, we'll get the north end taken care of,
Okay, all right,
if we got the money.
okay,
Because it ain't that bad, we can get that pretty quick.
okay.
And down there on the south from Springersville down to 44, that's got like 2 bridges on it, railroad crossing, so it cuts your mileage down.
Okay, so you're thinking you may be able to handle that
Yeah,
in-house?
we can handle that.
Okay, with the in-house budget. All right, so that pretty well would take care of 450 East then, if we could get community crossings to do from 44 South, and then you could do in-house the rest of it, the
44
needs
north, yeah.
north, we can get traffic clear to the county line north then, over
But if
there.
you look at it, that's only, I think time we get that, it's only about, not quite 3 miles, I think,
Total, left,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, about 2 3/4 miles is all it is, but that ain't bad at all. They're just split up, but you gotta tie them together. Few hot mixes put down,
Right.
that's no problem.
yeah, okay.
The other thing we could add in there as an alternate on those is if you want to look at your cross pipes, see if you got any of those that need replaced or collapsed, I can add those in as an alternate. If it comes down low, we can say, yeah, go ahead and replace those if you look.
So you're thinking we can add things as alternates within the project?
Yeah.
We just can't add another project
Right, I
as an
can't,
alternate?
and then just delete it off if you don't get enough money.
I see,
So,
I think I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
so if we,
So we really need to look at berming or reberms
And all the cans.
and all the cans
Yeah.
as alternates.
yeah, and I could put those on alternates if it comes in where we can't award the alternates and you still get your paving done, and
And then
if Jay wants
we
to
do
replace
it,
some of those pipes himself, he can.
we do that in-house.
Yeah,
Because we've made a point to try to replace 95% of the cans, haven't we?
Yep. The weather slowed us down so much this year, we barely got them in before they come out to pay.
Yeah, I know, but we did make it.
Yeah,
we don't have new pavement sitting on old cans.
Yeah, so we go in January, we'll know, we'll be in bid again around March, you know, so you'll know before you get out there and going heavy on the roads in the spring, whether we're able to put them in the contract or not.
Y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
If I've kept track on the map here right, between 450 East and 550 West, we're talking about a total of 11.5 miles. And using your formula at $115,000 a mile, that comes in at $1,322,500.
Yep,
Pretty close to what we were this year.
yep.
Man,
And your mileage is just, you know, confirming with Jay, is just about the same as it was last year, including that extra mile that we added in.
that we did it, with our own money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was,
Unmatched money.
yeah,
But and then what you'll do is look at the milling, or put in there for the
Yeah.
extra milling,
right,
the berms, redoing gravel in the berms as an alternate,
right,
and
And cans.
cans as an alternate.
yep,
And then as the bids come in, we can subtract those alternates off or add them
yeah.
however we want.
Each one will have a number, an item number, you know, it's like 6A, I call my alternates A. And then when we're gonna award the base, and then we can award any or all of those alternates.
Okay.
So we can pick, you know, we can start
And-
running numbers.
Would you agree that by milling 30% of that crown, we're gonna save in asphalt tonnage
Make it go fast.
to offset, more than offset the milling
Right,
costs?
so last year, we added a little thickness to it, but we tried, you know, our base was kind of 2 inches, but by the time we wedged and stuff, like Jay was saying, we was thicker out the edge. So if we mill, we can count on exactly 2 inches of good pavement over everything. So yeah, we can eliminate some asphalt. And if those are, let's say they're 18 foot wide, we're gonna take, you know, 3 or 4 foot in the middle and get rid of that milling. And they really don't charge us extra for milling, and we'll give them a square yardage, but they pay those guys that mill by the day. So if they're out there edge milling anyway, and they gotta drive down the road, they just get in the middle and take the crown out. So
Okay.
this won't add a lot of a milling cost to
Okay.
it. Our number will be higher than theirs, because we're basing it on square yards, but they turn around and say, how many days is it, and then divide it by the square yards, come up with their dollar amount, or the
Now,
linear fee.
Jay, I don't know much about this side of the county, but up there, are you thinking you want those millings for a gravel road up there?
Wouldn't hurt.
Or do you want to use them to put down on the berms?
Now, I'd rather put the gravel on the berm. It
Okay.
goes out easier. Milling, they get just enough clumps in them, the boxes we use to put them out won't work.
No, I mean if they do it.
Oh, they do.
If the alternate bid comes in that,
Yeah, they
that,
can do that.
Okay, I just need to put a special provision in there for,
Yeah.
to use the
Use
millings as
on the
berm.
berm.
Okay,
I mean, I didn't know whether you had a more important use for them, thought process up in that area, because there's a lot of gravel roads up there, so.
I'm thinking the white stone on the sides, up to see the edge of the road.
Well, and you may
I
be
noticed
right.
that out there in Springerville, you can really see the edge of that road with that white stone on it.
yeah,
So you want the millings, you want to keep the millings?
Let us keep the millings and we'll put them on the gravel road.
okay,
So why don't we try to find a location, whether that's the Bentonville elevator or whatever, to rent some space for them to stockpile them up there and leave them up there? Rather than hauling them down here and then hauling them back up,
That'd be better.
that,
maybe.
that'll help your bids too, because if they, some of those guys will get out and do the work when they bid it and look for where they can get rid of their millings. You'll be the first one to ask if we don't tell them you want it. But if you don't want them, then they're hauling it somewhere. So if we're telling them what to do with the millings in the bid, that'll help the cost too.
Yeah. That'll work.
I mean, I just suggest Bentonville, because the elevator, because I know there's space there.
We got, I know, these 2 gravel roads up there, maybe 3,
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt 'em.
And I don't know if you'll do a mile with all those millings, or 2 miles, or 10 miles.
Depends how much you got.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Depends what comes off.
And
yeah, I don't know.
the key with their millings is if you can get them down as you're getting them while they're still broke up real good, so they start setting back up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 So maybe they'll mill them in our own truck if you time it right,
Yeah.
and you can go right to a gravel road. I mean, like I said, I don't know about over here on this side, whether you've got some place that you might be able to utilize them.
Horseshoe. Right there,
Is that
right there
5?
north of Everton Road,
Oh, okay,
goes back around, has a little road in between it.
yeah. So, I mean,
Well, there's a gravel right off the end of 450 too.
so maybe try to plan ahead for
Yeah.
that, and that'll get us a cheaper bid
Yeah.
if they don't have to deal with millings even.
We can do that.
I got a note
Is
here.
that okay with,
I'll put in special
That thing's
provisions
okay
and
with
then
you
we'll
guys?
work that out at a
Yeah,
pre-con
up
once
there,
you're
you
the bidders. You
well,
guys been
if they have
happy
to
with
pile
that?
them, and rather than hauling them, I'm gonna say, yes, you
Because it
can.
could've been a little quicker, I think.
Because I don't want them hauled clear back here and then hauled back up there.
They're getting it done now.
That's
They
stupid.
have 650 done and
Lose.
gonna start on
Exactly.
400.
So just
But if you can
scheduling's been
plan
the biggest
ahead.
issue, the work's been okay?
Well, I think the rain and
While they're
everything
milling,
messed them up. They said they had trouble
if he
getting
can
gravel for.
Back his trucks right under
Load
it,
up
take
and
them,
go.
take them to the gravel
I
road
can
that he's gonna
understand
put them
that.
on, and
We go through the same thing.
Right.
I mean, try to do something, rain or something else.
Yeah.
they're already
Then you
finely ground,
Wouldn't
and
have to store them, you wouldn't have
Yeah.
to do anything else with them.
let's try to plan ahead for
Put it down,
that
too.
then, Jay.
Yeah.
So that maybe we can even just back our trucks right under the milling machine and haul them right to the site. Lay them on the gravel road at the same time.
Yep. Good thing we didn't get rid of that old paper.
Well, it is.
That'd be ideal for that.
That'd be an ideal job for that
Yeah.
paver, old paver. All right. Is that everybody on page?
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion that we ask Butler Fairman to do these 2 roads, estimate these 2 roads then.
I'll move we ask Butler Fairman to go ahead and work up the bids and all that you need to do on projects for 450 East from 400 South to 44, State Road 44, total of I think 3.5 miles. And County Road 550 west from 200 north to 1,000 north.
8 miles. 8 miles.
Yeah, total of 8 miles on 550 west.
I'll
Is there a
second
second? There's a motion made and seconded that we ask Butler Fairman to work up cost estimates or bid estimates for the 2 roads mentioned, as well as alternates to go along with those 2 roads. Are there any questions or other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jay,
Now,
I'll get a hold of you and we'll have somebody come up and we'll drive that and look at those pipes. Okay.
okay, that'd be great. So when can we'll hear back from you, our first meeting in December?
That'll be tough. I'll try. I'll tell you, I was planning on remoting in, and Jalissa called me this morning and said that they kind of like you here. I was in Lafayette, so
Oh.
it's
we
almost as quick as I got here today. I'll get those. That's what now we'll get them all. We just need to pull some areas, and then those pipes will probably be the 2 biggest things that take a long time. But I'll try to have it by then. But
Oh, I
It's-
didn't expect you,
Yeah.
but what we could do is, if we need to, we could have a special meeting that next week. We'll be meeting December 1st and the 15th. regular meetings,
Okay, I'll definitely have it by the 15th.
okay?
Yeah,
And if he can have it sooner, we'll have it,
Yeah.
a special meeting that
Yep.
week of the 8th, or.
I'll probably have it to you in emails before then, but
Okay.
we'll definitely have it for the 15th.
All right, that's plenty soon enough, isn't it, Jalissa, for grants and, or the application, so. Because they won't call for the application till January, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Usually the first Monday after the 1st, and then we have the whole month of January to get it in.
Okay. And then will we be opening bids on the 15th
15th, yes.
for highway, so that, all our highway bids, so that'll be a busy day, so. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate you coming down.
Oh, yeah, glad to do it.
And hopefully we are just as successful this year,
Yes.
or this next year.
Maximize that $1 million, right?
Yes. And maybe they'll have a sweet spot and give us a little more or something next year.
Well, and I'm not sure, a lot of people didn't go that normally went in July, that they pushed back till October. A lot of people that normally went then didn't go, so there'll probably be a bigger rush in January. So I think for strategy, you put your 8 miles in as priority 1, and then your shorter one as second, because you want to be sure you get, if they don't give $1 million out, we want to get as much from them as we can. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And then, okay, let me ask you this. If they don't award the full $1 million in the first draft, are we eligible to apply for the remainder of it in the second draft?
Yes. Yep.
So we can get a total $1 million for the whole year?
Right.
Out of both applications?
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is just me, and I haven't heard this from NDOT or anything, but the call that they didn't have in July that moved to October, they came up with $68 million to hand out. Typically, it's in the $130, $135 million range for the whole state. That 68 million kind of backs into the $15 a license plate across the state, so that's what they have as a bare minimum. With the MVH and sales tax and everything being done, I think they just earmarked that 68 million. They knew they were gonna have it. The license plates are kind of an automatic thing. So there will at least be $68 million for January whenever they have the call. But obviously if there's 93 counties and who knows how many cities and towns going after that same amount of money, they'll just go in and look at the projects. They may skip one and give you the second one because they're playing with numbers, but we'll at
Or
least-
they may give a partial to both of them, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
They could-
Typically, so far, they've funded whole projects. They've not broken it down. But I think your mix here of the 3.5 and an 8 mile gives them
The option.
good option to at least award one of the two to you if they get tight on money.
And two, if we get turned down on all of it, we still have round two.
Turn around July and,
Like we did 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
think. We lost out on the first draft.
yeah. And that's the only time I know of anybody not getting awarded when they applied, so. That was the first time money was tight on them. They had more applicants than they did money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay,
all right. Thank you.
great. Anything else from Mike or Jay or Bill?
I don't have any.
Okay. I think you have something else that we can discuss only as administrative. We won't be able to make any decisions today because it wasn't advertised.
Yeah, well, that gentleman's here, he'd probably like to speak to his problem. Jeff, you want to tell us about what you're working on?
Yes, sir. Thank you, County Commissioners. My name is Jeffrey Mertens, President of Indiana Ordinance on 21st Street. We've been there since 1974 when my father founded the business as a private business to do research and development for ordinance work. And although, and I recently purchased the property from my uncle, in fact, this year. So I'm pleased to say that we're okay. There's no government work right now, but we're adjusting to the marketplace to provide some more jobs and opportunity to the area. And my son-in-law and daughter live there now. I have 2 grandsons, residents here of the town. Christian Farner, you might have met him, and he's helped them with various county committees. The critical issue that we've got now is 2 weekends ago, we had a storm come through here on a Friday night, and while my grandson and daughter, my son-in-law and daughter were actually delivering my second grandson in Indianapolis, a storm blew down a big tree and destroyed our power line to all the commercial buildings. So we've been without power for 2 weeks now, and I did get Duke Energy in there to take a look at it. It's all on my side of the fence though, so very difficult. We've cleared out 15, 20 trees in that area to try to get it set up. And in doing that, as we study the corner of that property, which we share with Container Craft and with the county farm animal shelter property, we see that there's some severe erosion occurring right there at that corner. And there's a lot of other big trees on your side of the fence that would jeopardize anything that we rebuild. When we put the new pole back in and put the lines, electric lines back up. So I'm here to ask for your assistance in that area. And my best project management engineering assessment of the condition is that we need a couple guys on chainsaws to drop the trees on your side and cut that lumber up, move it away, clean up that space. And then we probably need 5-6 loads of CR6 in there to rebuild that hillside, because it's actually to the point where 4 or 5 feet of my concrete corner pole is exposed, and my gas lines are starting to, erode down. So we've got some problems there that I'd like to head off at the pass if we can.
Sir, are the lines that went down, are they Duke's lines responsibility, or are they your private lines?
Yeah, that's the Duke power pole sits right there at the end of 18th Street with the meter on it. And then as you start to go towards my fence line, that's where the erosion has occurred and where we need some loads in there. And then it crosses my fence and goes to the first power pole, which I own. And that's about 6 feet from our shared fence line. And then it articulates up the hill beyond. So that's where the jeopardy.
So Duke's meters are down there at the property line, the road?
It's Duke
18.
Energy and Duke Energy.
Rather than
right.
meters are up there.
Yeah, meters
the
right there
buildings.
at the end of 18th Street, sir.
That's why Duke hasn't maintained clearing the trees,
Exactly.
because they're your private lines.
Yeah, and we've taken 20, 30 trees down on that hillside to clean it all up and everything. We were in there this summer, but unfortunately we just, couldn't predict, what would happen. So the storm blew it down there. We got about $8,000 bill to look at.
You've looked at it? I think
Yeah.
I understood your email.
Yeah, I was over
Text.
there yesterday and watched Jeff work for a while. So, now Jeff, when I was over there yesterday, I noticed that there's 2 fence rows running up the hill. There's an old one and an older one. And I don't know which one is the real property line. Now, if the one nearest you is the real property line, then yes, some of those trees on the other side of the fence are ours. If the old fence line, or the older fence line is the real property line, then all those trees are yours. If we could, I'd like to enjoin the county surveyor to try to establish, if you can, which one of those fence rows is the real property line, if either of them are. And you know how old fences are.
Yeah.
It might not be on the right property.
Yeah, they're not always on the.
Neither one of them may be the property line.
You never know.
We might have 30, 40 acres the other way. I don't know.
Yeah, or the county may have 30 or 40
That's right.
acres the other way.
And then I guess we're in business together.
Yeah.
Well, no, it'd be good to reestablish that exactly if we can. The original, that corner post might be a good one for you to look at. But whatever the right solution is, we got some trees and some erosion to deal with. And I got my dozer in there, and I've been on the chainsaw. I'm pretty exhausted today, but I'm going to hit it again this afternoon and keep cleaning up, fixing up, and whatever we can possibly do, you know.
Yeah.
We just need your assistance on whatever part is yours.
Well, I think the only thing we can do today is, you know, ask the county surveyor to,
Verify
Survey.
the line.
you know, establish the property line
Yeah.
and then go from there.
I think it might take a little while to get to the final answers, and that's okay, because I think we'll, if we can, we'll try to put our pole back up, and electric up, but we're through the worst of the storms for the year, I would guess. But you know, perhaps by spring, if we can have, you know, an erosion problem solved and any tree issue figured out and solved, then that would be great.
I think once we, I think once we establish the actual property line, and then we can set a master plan
Sure.
together and, and attack the whole thing
Great.
from all the way up. I think it's the best procedure.
Okay.
That whole hillside hasn't had any attention for a long, long
years.
time.
But I'm not sure that anybody had quorum over him even crossing the property line with his dozer and taking out, because they're probably junk trees anyway.
Well,
There's some big ones in there, some big 12-inch cherry in there. It's gonna be hard to get down with it.
yeah, what I saw was black cherry and honey locust. I just love them honey locusts.
You and me both.
Yeah.
I love to watch them go down.
Yeah, me too. Okay, all right. Let's wait on Bill to get that established, and then we'll go from there.
Very good. Thank you very much for your time.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
Hey, can you guys make some 9mm ammunition?
Yeah, we probably can. But I do have a special thank you this Thanksgiving time to the county and their warm welcome to my family. Okay.
Thank you for staying. All right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else was advertised. So
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
motion made for adjournment. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.